Hey everyone. Uh, yeah, this is an emergency video. Um, I planned on doing another video here for the next couple of days. Considering the Pens don't play for a little bit and the Four Nations are wrapping up, and terrible news out of Pittsburgh tonight. Longtime Pittsburgh Penguins radio announcer Mike Lange has passed away at the age of 76. Grandpa Mike Lange is gone. And for a lot of us Pens fans, this hurts. This hurts a lot. I know I don't live in Pittsburgh. I don't. I don't. I live in Pennsylvania, but this isn't Pittsburgh. But for any Pens fans who knows they're worth their salt, knows who Mike Lange is and his legacy that he leaves behind. And it's a sad case of another member of the old guard of NHL broadcasters that are either retiring or passing on. Mike Lange's catchphrases are known throughout Penn's lore. Hell, Elvis has just left the building, plays after every Pittsburgh Penguins home win, especially in overtime. And I could make a joke about how we don't do that a lot, but that's not the right time. Elvis has just left the building. Slap me silly, Sydney. Buy me a milkshake, Malkin. He doesn't know whether to cry or wind his watch. So many. So many. Mike Lange is one of those guys who were born for radio. In a dying art of streaming, where fan streamers seem to be more important and well known than most radio broadcasters, radio is still king in most markets. But the legends that we've had, Rick Jenneret 2 years ago passing away, and it's gutted the Sabres. Oh, you can say that they're still healing and are probably never going to get over it. Or fully get over it. It's going to be the same way with Mike Lange. And I'm sure all of you that watch this, all 9 of you, you have your favorite Mike Lange line. And for someone who is in the media like myself, that even though I'm just a fan who's lucky enough to have a YouTube channel that talks about the Pittsburgh Penguins and yells and screams, a lot of my passion and excitement of the game was born from hearing guys like Mike Lange, Mike Emmerich, Rick Jenneret, and even guys in the modern game today, John Walton in DC, Zach Fish and Hershey, and I'm sure there's plenty others who put their hearts into their voices and project onto a microphone. Heck, I do it with my Bears podcast. Maybe a Penguins one someday. But guys like Rick, who were born for radio, and that man slogged the equipment to press boxes that maybe were held together with duct tape and chicken wire and loose wiring. I'm probably sure Grandpa Mike would have a lot of stories about the old Hartford Civic Center, probably the Montreal Forum, the Maple Leaf Gardens, the Boston Garden, the old Cow Palace, and many others. I know the man's old, after COVID, he stepped down. As many say when they get older, the spirit is willing, but the body just can't anymore. And hold on. And unfortunately, he stepped aside on the radio. Two more capable hands. I'm not going to come on here and say I could do better than the Pens guys on the radio. I can't. Heck, when I've live streamed Pens games for a hockey podcast network, I've had trouble. Trouble just keeping up. And I'm already seeing it here on the Twitter screen below me. Pittsburgh media is just gutted. Gutted. Mark Madden, regardless of what you think of him, lost a really good man tonight. The true Pittsburgh Penguin every way, the urinating tree. A noted Yinzer himself. Elvis has left the building. The Pens collective, friends of the show, showing Mike Lange night from October 8th, 2019. He was a voice. And I remember in the jockey wagons when I worked second shift, and when I couldn't watch those Penguins games when I was working, I'd put on NHL.com and I would gladly go to Penguins radio and hear the dulcet tones of Grandpa Mike Lange. Because to me, he was a grandpa. He's not an uncle like I call Uncle Doc. But in the same respect, if the Pens made it to the postseason, you looked forward to hearing Mike call these Pens games from high above wherever he was, from whether it was high atop the Civic Center in the Igloo, to whether it was shoved up in a corner in Philadelphia, San Jose, the high press boxes of Madison Square Garden. I'd listen. And I didn't need to hear a loud yelling voice projected on the radio. When I say dulcet tones, that's exactly what he was. Was there some speed off his fastball the last few years? Sure. Father Time's undefeated. But there will never be another Mike Lange. And there shouldn't. And there honestly shouldn't. Yes, I yell and say and maybe say some catchphrases for some guys who's ever watched my videos. That's all. That's my passion, maybe influenced by Mike Lange. But I can tell you that every person that comes on here, this medium, whether it's social media, radio, blog, writing, journalist, anyway, that has covered Pittsburgh, is influenced by that man. And to say, and to quote a country song, to say that Mike Lange was a father, a teacher, a mentor, but above all, he was a good man. And that's a great thing that you can be called at the end of your life. He was a great man. He was a good man. And I wish I could have met him. I wish I could have met him. So thank you, Mike. Thank you. He looked frail in his last years before the great virus. But now we know Michael watched from the best seats in the house every game, and the first game back that the Pens will have, whether it's at home or on the road, he'll be watching. He will be watching. And hell, I will bet tomorrow or today, whenever you watch this, he'll watch USA versus Canada. Him and Bobby up there in heaven watching the game. Hell, him and Rick Jenneret will call the game side by side from heaven's press box if there's room for him. Caps and Pens on Saturday in Pittsburgh. You imagine the tribute they are going to have. So, that's it. After USA versus Canada, Caps and Pens on Saturday, and then Rangers and Pens on Sunday. And then somehow, some way, life will continue on. And ladies and gentlemen, for one last time, Elvis has left the building.